Again, good morning once again to you all. We come back to the part 2 of Geography of Standard 8, India's geographical features. So we start with the second part, that is a physiographic division. We start with the first physiographic division, physical division, that is Himalayas. Now, for these, you have to refer to page number 121, figure 8.4, which is given in your book also. Just I am explaining it. So the Himalayas, which is at the top of our country, which acts as a northern mountain wall, it includes the most important knot that is called Pamir mountain ranges. It is the junction of a knot of the Himalayas, the knot from where the various mountain ranges emerges, and they are spread according to the arms, as in arms. Teen Shan, Karakoram, Kundlun and Hindu Kush ranges. The Karakoram and Himalayas are located along the northern boundary of India. You will find it in the northern boundary of India. We have Himalayas, the Karakoram. The northern mountains further divided into three divisions: northwest range, northern Himalayan range or northern arc, northern Himalayas, and then the northeast Himalayas. So northwest range, we have Pamir Knot radiating, the mountains radiating from Pamir Knot is known as the roof of the world. The main mountain ranges, we have Hindu Kush here, Kundlun, Karakoram, Ladakh and Zaskar. Then we have northern Himalayan range or northern arc, greater northern Himalayas, which runs in the form of an arc from Kashmir in the north to Assam in the east. That means from the stretch from Kashmir towards the Assam, we have the Himalayas. The westernmost limit of northern arc is Nanga Parbat at the top and the Namcha Barwa, and the easternmost limit is marked by Namcha Barwa. We have Nanga Parbat in the westernmost, which extends, and till the east it extends to Namcha Barwa. The northern Himalayan range comprises of Himadri, which is middle or lesser Himalayas, and the Shivalik ranges. The northeast Himalayas, that is Purvanchal, that toward the east, that we can say, where we have the series running through Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Assam, Mizoram. They consist of Patkai Bum, Naga Hills, Mizo or Lushai Hills in the northwest, Garo Khasi Jaintia Hills. You will all find these kind of hills in the eastern part of our country here. In the eastern zone, you will find all these hills, Purvanchal. Then we come to the northern plains. Yes, the plains, as you know, that they are the flat land which is drained by various perennial rivers, and due to the perennial rivers in existence, they have alluvial soil in this region which is rich in agriculture. The vast plain of India is between Himalayas to the north and toward the peninsular plateaus of the south. That is called Indo-Gangetic Plain or Indo-Gangetic Brahmaputra rivers. It is a gradational plain formed by the depositional form. A gradation means gradation, and aggradation is where the piling up of the land mass is there, but it has been formed by the depositional work which has been done by three major rivers. The rivers which are perennial in nature, they flow every time, and when they flow, they are called transported. They transport with them silt clay. Okay, that is the depositional work by which this plain has been formed. Basically, the rivers which go by is Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra. It's the largest plain, northern plain, largest alluvial tract that we have in India. It emerges from the mouth of Indus to the Ganga, of which the Indian sector alone accounts for 2400 km. The Great Plain of India can be divided into four parts: Thar Desert, Indus, Punjab Haryana Plain, Ganga Plain, Brahmaputra Plain. Thar Desert, a sandy desert toward the northwestern India and the eastern Pakistan. Then we have the plain is also called the Great Indian Desert, known as Thar Desert. The western part is covered by shifting sand dunes known as the Rayan. Eastern part of the desert is up to Aravalli ranges, a semi-arid region or a plain called Rajasthan Bhagar. The most important river which is there in part, you will find it in that western part of our country, that is Luni, river Luni, that is to the run of Kutch. North of Luni basin, there are several saltwater lakes. We have Sambar Lake and the Kuchaman. But Sambar Lake is the most famous that you will always get to mark, that is the Salt Lake. The Central Arid Zone. Jodhpur is using the latest technology to remote sensing to study of extension of desert region. Then we have Indus Punjab Haryana plain. These are formed by the sediments which is carried by the tributaries of river Indus, Jhelum, Ravi, Byas, Satluj and Chenab flowing through the region. These rivers is known as, this particular plain is known as Punjab plain, the land of 5 rivers. It is primarily made up of dobes between 2 rivers. The eastern part of Punjab is relatively flat, but the northern part is extensively eroded by the numerous streams. The network of such streams is known as, local name is given as Chos. Then we have the Ganga plain, deltaic plain of Bengal is now Bangladesh. It is composed of old alluvium and new alluvium full of marshy areas and mud. To the north lies the Ganga Brahmaputra Doab region. Then we have Brahmaputra plain. It extends to Sadia in the east and Dhubri in the west. Its width is given. The plain is made up of alluvium which is carried by Brahmaputra and its tributaries. So it's Indus Ganga Brahmaputra plain is home to millions of Indians. Then we come to the third physical features, that is the peninsular plateau of India. It's a tract of having water on 3 sides. It's called the Gondwana land, old landmass. It's made up of igneous and metamorphic rock, 2 types of rocks, igneous and metamorphic. Peninsular plateaus lies towards the south and Vindhya and Satpura ranges. It consists of Indian Plateau, Deccan Plateau, Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Here we have Western Ghats, here we have Eastern Ghats. In middle we have the Deccan Plateau region. Indian Plateau, which forms the Aravalli Hills in the northwest from the oldest mountain of India. The oldest mountain of India is Aravallis, the youngest mountain of India is Himalayas. Further between Aravallis and Vindhya ranges lie Malwa Plateau. Then follow almost parallel ranges Vindhya and Satpura, which extends from the east-west direction to the form the boundary of Deccan. Northeast of plateau is Chota Nagpur Plateau. Noted as Chota Nagpur Plateau is rich in mineral deposits. Toward the northeast plateau, we have Chota Nagpur as I told you. To the west of Aravallis, we have Thar Desert. Deccan Plateau is found in the central India. Plateau to the south of Narmada River is the largest plateau in India. It is Deccan Plateau speciality. It is made up of lava with several of 100 meters thick. Northern part of Deccan Plateau has some minor ranges. That is the range of mountain, Raj Mahal, Maikala Hills, etc. Okay, Mahadev Hills. Its Deccan Plateau is triangular in shape. Then we have Western Ghats. As you can see here we have Western Ghats. Its height is given, ranges. Northern half of Western Ghats are known as Sahyadri. The Western Ghats has Sahyadri Hills and Nilgiri Hills known as Blue Mountains. In the south of Nilgiris we have Anamalai Hills, Cardamom and Palani Hills, the highest peak there. Anamalai Hills is the highest peak in the peninsular region. Then we have various rivers in Deccan except Narmada and Tapi. The other rivers they flow into the Bay of Bengal. Eastern Ghats, which is in the eastern boundary of our country, you can see here Eastern Ghats. Okay, it has stretched from Mahanadi to Nilgiris in the south. From the eastern fringe, dissected plateau. Eastern Ghats, not a continuous chain of mountains there of the like Western Ghats. They disappear after 150 kilometers between Godavari and Krishna valleys. Then we have coastal regions, Gujarat plains, western coastal plain and eastern coastal plain. Gujarat plain, especially it occupies the Thar desert occupied by the state of Gujarat. It is known as Run of Kutch and Shallow Arm. It has 2 inlets, Gulf of Kutch and Gulf of Khambat or Gulf of Cambay. The Kathiawar Peninsula is also known as Saurashtra, lies in the south of Kutch. The western coastal plain lies between Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. The stretch from the Kutch in the north to Kanyakumari in the south. So this is what we have covered for the coastal regions. Then we have the eastern coastal plain. We have the Ganga and eastern coastal plain extends from Ganga to Kanyakumari. Northern half of coastal plain is called Northern Sikras. The southern half of it from Nellore, Kanyakumari to Coromandel coast. Various flowing rivers are also there, which carry vast quantities of alluvium with them. The prominent deltas are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. They are not suitable for harbours in their mouth. There are several lakes. We have Chilika Lake, in Odisha, Koleru and Pulikat in Andhra Pradesh. Then we have two more important islands, Andaman Nicobar Island and Lakshadweep Island. Andaman Nicobar Island latitudinal degree is given. There are 550 islands. Most of them are too small because of their volcanic origin. Nicobar contains 19 islands. Islands of Lakshadweep, Minsoy, Ammandivi, Arabian Sea are known as Lakshadweep. Then drainage includes length and breadth of various rivers here. Then the rivers which drain into northern plains, we have Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra. Indus rivers, we have 5 tributaries, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, Satluj, termed as largest drainage systems of India. Ganga river, we have Ganga, Yamuna, Gomti, Gagra, Gandak, Kosi from the north. Then Brahmaputra, the longest rivers of the world, it passes through Tibet, India and Bangladesh. Rivers of peninsular India, we have especially Mahanadi, Narmada, Tapi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. So there are, if we compare northern and peninsular rivers, rivers of northern India are more important than rivers of southern India because the rivers of northern India are snow-fed and hence do not depend upon monsoon. The rivers of northern India bring fresh alluvium every year, whereas the peninsular rivers have such soil only in small deltas. Rivers in north are good for irrigation as they flow through the flat fertile plain, whereas peninsular rivers are less suitable as they move through the rocky plain, especially you can see the volcanic region. Thank you children, we finished the chapter. Next class we'll discuss the question answer.